Talk with Brother Osirus. Today I wanted to touch on the Me Too movement. There's been a lot of discussion on the Me Too movement. It has involved many people, and I thought maybe this is a good time to discuss it. Right now, the Senate is about to vote on Judge Kavanaugh, for the Supreme Court justice, to see if he can become a Supreme Court justice. And it's funny because the way that Donald Trump, President 45, has made it look like he is more of a victim than than the things that he has done in the past. Now, of course, this is what I want to touch base on as well. If he did what he did to that woman or those young ladies, because there's more and more people coming out every day accusing them of, sexual assault or sexual misconduct. If he did those things, then I understand. We can't overlook those things. But when they start talking about what you did when you were 17 years old, 18 years old, as far as drinking and doing some stupid stuff, I understand your past could come back to haunt you, but we have to also look at certain things as far as people being immature, people being children. If we're talking about hurting someone, I understand completely. But if we're talking about what other things he done in the past, other than hurting himself, what I'm saying, we need to slow down on that as well. I hear people talk about Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby, why is he the only person that got arrested? Well, they filed charges on him. The women, and they actually got lucky, really, because the one woman that had a chance to file charges on him, she filed on the last day. And what they locked him up for, they pretty much got him on all the past transgressions that he did, and that's what they're giving him the 3 to 10 for. I know a lot of people say, well, how come just because he's black and that's the only reason he got locked up? No, for me, he's guilty as hell. He's guilty as hell. But at the same time, you wonder why other people weren't locked up. Well, there's different things that he did differently than what other people did. There's a difference between sexual misconduct and sexual assault. There's a difference between rape and all these different other things. He's putting drugs in people's drinks and pretty much raping them, sexual assault. And then these other guys, like, the guy that was on Today Show, Matt Lauer, he locks the room, probably forced himself on some women or showed his private parts, but he didn't, nobody yet said that he raped anyone, so these are things that are, the legal things of them are a little bit different. The Harvey Weinstein situation, it's a little different. They said that he has raped a couple of people, or allegedly raped a couple of people or whatever. So his trial is coming up too. So everybody just needs to tone down, calm down a little bit, and wait for the results of those. It's not, I know it's not fair for the Mennonite community, but fair is fair. If a person did a crime, they got to pay for it. I can't take his side simply because he's a melanated man. You see what I'm saying? If he did it, he did it. Because you wouldn't want me to take his side if it was your daughter he did it to. So at the end of the day, he guilty. Okay? I got a caller here from from Miami. Looks like the brother Andrew Morgan. Yeah, the brother Andrew Morgan is calling in, and I guess he wanted to touch bases on that as well. Brother Drew, how you doing, man?
The Cosby situation.
Yeah. Oh, I think we lost him. Brother Drew.
It's a perfect example of cognitive dissonance. First and foremost, a lot of people confuse Bill Cosby with Dr. Heathcliff Huxtable. TV character is not who he is.
Right.
I mean, this stuff has been an open secret in Hollywood for decades. This isn't new. I
Okay.
mean, he paid a settlement to a 16-year-old girl's family back in the 70s. I think it was 1974. He paid another settlement to another 17-year-old girl's family in 1883. This isn't new. People have been
1983.
talking about and whispering about his conduct for a long time.
Right.
Because he was a cash cow to NBC, they covered up for him. The fact that people talk about how he was such this champion in our community, Cosby turned his back on us 2 decades ago when he started cashing Heritage Foundation checks in order to go on a speaking tour to blame us for all of our problems and telling us to stop blaming quote-unquote white folks. Bill Cosby sold us out a long time ago. Another instance you could talk about is the fact that you have multiple women, 66 decades. I mean, you have 6 times 10 women who don't know each other from different ethnic backgrounds, different nationalities, who are all with the same story. They don't want no money, none of this. These women, a lot of these women didn't even want their name printed.
Right.
They didn't want money. They weren't suing him. This isn't some ploy. He never was trying to buy NBC. Most people don't know this. How in the hell was Bill Cosby trying to buy NBC when he was employed by NBC?
Right.
Bill Cosby don't have enough money to buy NBC. See, this is just nonsense that gets thrown out here all the time. And first and foremost, what should have been said first, you can never begin a revolution unless you're able to maintain the intellectual and moral high ground. And defending Bill Cosby ruins our credibility, because when we truly have people we need to defend, we look foolish because we've been putting energy, time, effort, love, and so on and so forth into a man who doesn't deserve it.
Right. Man, that's powerful. I mean, I get that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people might say that Bill Cosby, a lot of people might say that Bill Cosby was tearing down the black folks. But other people might say that if he was actually dissecting the problems of black pathology, he would be destroyed by the white liberal media, and they send their attack dogs, which is the buffer Negroes. There's a brother that David Carroll, man, he breaks it down very, very good. I'm gonna let him explain exactly what I mean by the buffer Negro.
You're going to be attacked by the buffer Negroes. And the reason why you're going to be attacked by the buffer Negroes is because the white liberal does not want anybody. He does not want anybody under no set of circumstances highlighting or critiquing the pathology of black people.
Wow.
Now, you can make excuses for it,
Right.
but you can't critique it. You can justify it, but you can't analyze it.
Wow.
And if you find yourself critiquing, analyzing the dysfunction of black people, not making excuses for it, not justifying it, which is what the Hoteps, the black church, black leaders, this is what they do. They justify black pathology. And this is the reason why I told y'all in many of my videos that anybody can be pro-black. How can you be pro-black? Just defend black pathology.
Wow.
Justify it.
Defending
You
black
can do
pathology.
that, but you can't critique it. Because if you critique it, then the white liberal is going to send out, if you are on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, he's going to send out the buffer Negroes.
Wow. So basically what Carol is saying is those that try to analyze black pathology, quote unquote black pathology, black is a term made up by, of course, the Europeans, because definitely I'm not black. My skin is not black. My jacket is black. My skin is brown, or the skin tone. Anyway, I use that term, in context as it regards to the people, the melanated people. He's saying that if you try to dissect the problem, what we do that is wrong, or what actions that we have learned that may have been caused by them in the past, if we try to dissect those problems, we will be attacked. And that's why I say a lot of times that we need to address intrinsic factors more than extrinsic factors. What I'm trying to say is pretty much, if you can make changes in yourself, in your family, it could affect the community. You know what I'm trying to say? So these little changes that we do will affect the projection of the people. I say this over and over. If you're in the army, you have a missile. If you aim that missile 1 degree off from where you want it to strike, the trajectory will be the where it lands will be somewhere different. Just 1 degree off. So in retrospect, our missile right now is aimed somewhere where it shouldn't be right now, as far as the people. If we change just a little bit, we getting to more loving ourselves, trusting each other, depending on each other. The trajectory of our path will be a lot different. Back to the Me Too movement. Donald Trump, number 45, of course, POTUS 45, he tried to make it look like the men are the victim. Of course, if you're being blamed for something that you didn't do, of course you can feel like a victim, right? But the problem is, how many people are being blamed? How many people are actually being blamed for something they didn't do versus people that are being blamed for some things that they did do? And how many women can actually say how many, like if you ask a group, a room full of people, women who have been approached and have been, groped or came on to inappropriately, versus the men that have been accused of doing these things, you would see that it's disproportionate. I got another caller on the line. Looks like the brother Irvin McQueen out there in the DMV. Yeah, it looks like Washington, D.C. area code there. Let's see, brother.
Good evening, fellow listeners, and Osirus. Thank you for having me on your show. My name's Irvin McQueen. I'm the CEO of Inform and Engage and BEAM, which stands for Black Empowerment and Achievement Movement.
Okay.
I'm calling from the Washington, D.C. area in the United States. This is a very important topic, and I'm glad that you took the time to have this discussion on your show about the Me Too movement. As we've seen, people may fall on different sides of the topic. Some things people are just playing up different things that they should have just, but they brought upon themselves.
Right.
While others are outraged by the type of sexual activity that has encountered and been thrown upon women.
Right.
When I look at everything as a whole, I see that this type of movement was inevitable. And it is due to the way that the patriarchal system has been created and designed across the world as a whole.
Okay.
When you talk about the Me Too movement, we're essentially talking about the sexual harassment, the sexual exploitation, the sexual assaults, rape, and the rape culture that exists not just in America, but across the world. Well, if you look at statistics on their own, you can see that how, according to the CDC, that 1/3 of women will, throughout their lifetime, have sexual violence happen to them.
Wow.
If you have any loved ones that are women, whether you meet them by counseling friends or associates, or they may exist in your family, and you actually get to know them, eventually they may tell you about some situation that has occurs against them.
Wow.
So for me, the Me Too movement is a very powerful movement that needs to occur, that men actually need to go and start looking at things and the way that they interact with women in society in order to try to fix the issues that occur and switch the different interactions so that we can better protect women from the
Predatory
men in society.
Right.
So that these type of situations don't have to occur and there cannot be abuses of power and such. Well, thanks for giving me a call, giving me the time to give this little piece. I'll keep listening to the show, and thank you.
Thank you, Brother Herb, man. I appreciate your time, man. So, I mean, his piece right here was pretty powerful, man. You know, it's time for us to empower ourselves to say, hey, we're going to stand up for these women's rights. You know, we're not going to allow these men that are taking advantage of their power, their position, to abuse these women. And it's almost the same way with the racial inequality in the United States and all over the world. The people that are in power, it's gonna take them to recognize that there's a problem and teach themselves that what they're doing is not right. Because a lot of things that we do and try to explain falls on deaf ears. Thank you, listeners. Hopefully I can get you guys to come on out. Follow me on Osirus. Amin Ra on Facebook. My public page is Brother Osirus. Also on Twitter, Osirus Amin Ra, and on IG, Osirus Amin Ra. Brother Osirus. So I'll talk to you guys later. All right.